Hey guys, we're talking about Super 7 stuff today. We're talking about some ReAction figures, and I think it's been a little while since I've done ReAction, I think, maybe. So we've got a new wave of figures that I finally completed. So we're taking a look at wave 2 of TMNT. So we've got 4 different figures to talk about. We've got Donnie, and we've got Mikey, we've got a foot soldier, and we've got Shredder. Now, of course, these guys are done up in ReAction style, but they're based off of the vintage Playmates toys. So, you know, Donnie's kind of brown, Shredder has no shirt, all of that kind of stuff. These guys come on standard ReAction style card backs, so you've got great, fantastic artwork, and I really, really dig the artwork for this entire series. I think they look fantastic. They kind of give you that vintage Playmates feel, but actually have their own kind of flair to them. And then the backs of the package are 100% Playmates inspired with that cross-sell, with the clip and connect kind of bio cards and everything. So great presentation by Super 7 as usual. So let's do it. Let's pull these guys out and take a look. And here we are off those beautiful, beautiful card backs. Our Mikey and Don, our Foot Soldier, and Shredder figures in the ReAction line. So we're going to take a quick look at all of these. Obviously, these are 5 POA figures. There's not a great deal to run through when it comes to articulation. So we're going to check out the turtles first, and then we're going to check out the bad guys, because as usual, I'm all about the bad guys when it comes to turtle stuff. So here's our turtles. We've got our Don, we've got our Mikey figures, and like I said, these guys are based on, at least in general, the Playmates toys. So that means the turtles all have their own distinct colors as far as skin tones. So Donnie obviously has the odd color out. Raph was always bright in the toy line, but Donnie was so dark. He was basically brown almost in many respects when it comes to that vintage toy. And then Michelangelo is, well, he's a little bit more, I guess, normal green, you know, Crayola green almost. So you've got very Playmates style figures here. So you've got, you know, Mikey with the teeth gritting on one side, Donatello with the teeth gritting on both. They are, of course, 5 POA figures. So, you know, using Mikey as an example, you've got a swiveling head, you've got swiveling arms, and you've got swiveling legs. So there's really not a lot to go through when it comes to articulation, but that's, of course, not exactly why we're buying these. It's certainly not why I'm buying them. I'm buying them because just like what I hope I'm going to get out of the Ultimates figures from Super 7, I'm getting a tremendous amount of nostalgia out of these. And that comes from somebody who did not ever, and I repeat, ever have vintage Star Wars figures. Still, never bought a single one in my entire life. I have no nostalgia for the vintage Star Wars figures, but this style of toy really does something for me on a nostalgic level. And Turtles, as I've said a number of times, was easily among my top 3, I guess, properties when I was a kid. Turtles essentially consumed my life for a number of years, and these figures just really take me back. I think they very much play into the aspect of that style, that Playmates design, while being something very different and very much a throwback to an older style of figure. They are really well done, just like the original wave of figures with Leo and Raph, and then of course Bebop and Rocksteady in that wave 1. These do look really good. They have great sculpt. They have great Playmates style. Colors are really vibrant and bright. Everything is painted really nicely. They of course come with their signature weapons, and they're done up in a very Playmate style, so no paint on them. They're done up in that kind of orangey brown color. So Mikey has his nunchucks, and then Donatello has, of course, his bow staff, and there's a good sculpt on all of those, but they don't really have any paint on them, which makes perfect sense. And then each turtle does come with a slice of pizza, just like the Raph and Leo figures in Wave 1. So if you have all 4, you've got 4 slices of pizza total, and these are just really cool figures. I know they're not for everybody, but these are definitely for me, just because, well, it's Turtles, it's vintage style Turtles, and they do look really good. They translate so much better into this style than I ever expected they would. Undoubtedly, though, you know, after espousing all of the love I have for Turtles, I've always been a huge villain guy when it came to Turtles, so this is kind of saving the best for last. Just like with Wave 1, Bebop and Rocksteady were amazing. Easily some of the best ReAction figures to date, and these are just adding on to that. I absolutely think this line works so well at this style. I never expected they would be so good in 5 POA 3 3/4 inch style. They just work. There is so much here that makes me think vintage Playmates. Obviously these are a little bit different because we don't have kind of a hunchback Shredder going on or anything. I don't know how that would work or if it would even possibly work in this scale, but these guys look great. So I'm going to move Shredder aside just a second. So we've got our foot soldier here, and he looks fantastic. Colors are vibrant. Everything is really painted well. There's no bleeding or fuzziness on the line work here. So you've got, you know, the mask which has the yellow eyes and that red foot emblem up there, the blue gauntlets, the blue pants, and then the wraps on the feet, and then the boots down there. It looks so much like the vintage toy. I think it works really well. And then you've got, of course, the really goofy staff grabber kind of thing done up in just gray. So very vintage Playmate style. The only real gripe I have for the foot soldier is really a personal thing. I can't potentially justify $18 a pop for multiple figures. I would love to have this guy at least a second one. I just can't do it. I've got, what, 10 cartoon NECA foot soldiers at this point because of the price point, but this guy's just not enough toy for that money, so I'm probably just gonna have to deal with the one for now. I do think he looks fantastic, though. This is another great instance of this design translating really well into this format. Shredder is more of the same. Again, I have some stupid nostalgia for that really goofy vintage figure, but I also really like a shirtless Shredder because it looks so stupid. It just looks ridiculous. I mean, he's armored, but he's also not. What are these shoulder pads plugged into? How is he wearing this stuff? These are questions for another day, but this guy works really well. All of that goofy purple and blue and the black, and then of course we don't have the eye line, the eyebrows and such on that helmet like we're going to get in the Ultimates or with that vintage figure. But he looks really good. He very much gives off that vintage toy design, and then you've got, of course, the vinyl cape that we're used to seeing in the ReAction, just like we got with vintage Star Wars figures, and they are both 5 POA, so swiveling legs, swiveling arms, head, the whole deal. And then Shredder comes with a standard just gray sword, so he matches the foot soldier in his color scheme, and still very vintage, very easy to knock down if you're not paying attention. But these guys look great. They translate into this style really well, and paired alongside Bebop and Rocksteady, I really don't know what more I could have asked for. Paint applications are really solid, sculpt is really good, and just like I said before, these guys, these designs translate so much better into ReAction than I ever thought they would. It really makes me excited for all the wacky designs that we're already knowing that we're going to get coming in future waves, like Space Cadet Raph, one of my favorite figures from the vintage line. We know what they can do with this stuff. It's going to be cool to see where they go. So yeah, I'm not sure there's much more to say. I think, again, for too many times at this point, that the turtle stuff translates into ReAction form exceptionally well. They really tick all the boxes for me as far as nostalgia, as far as playability. The only real downside is still the price. They are still so expensive for what you're getting. I understand Super7's a smaller company. I understand that these are a very niche product and they don't sell tons and tons and tons, but at the same time, I'd like to be able to buy a few foot soldiers, and I just really can't justify it at this price point. Otherwise, though, they are really fun to collect. Again, they do work exceptionally well at this style. The designs translate really well, and it just gives me a lot of nostalgia playing around with vintage inspired toys that are new again. The card backs that they come on are truly fantastic. This is yet another instance where I don't like taking them off the cards, but at the same time I like taking them off to play around with them, so it's a give and take. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super7 ReAction Turtles Wave 2 figures. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.